Well, the time is here. The time's been here for some, and the time is just now getting here for others. But it's deer season. Full on. I mean, it's game on. Now, this is mainly for people that have never really deer hunted before. Or maybe, you have, but you don't really have a lot of experience on it. I'm just here to offer some tips. And maybe just a lot of the veterans that are like, dang, what have I been doing wrong? Maybe some of my tips can help you. I know sometimes I'll still go on and look like, dang, I'm doing something wrong. What am I screwing up on? I've been doing this, I think, my whole life. Or did I change something? I didn't even know it. Or maybe I need to try something different. Brand new deer hunters, or hunters in general, but brand new deer hunters, the first and foremost, you want to be safe. That's number one. I don't care how familiar you are with rifles or any kind of firearm. I don't care, but you always want to be safe. And, you want to use common sense. And it's scary with some people's common sense is a little, you're too excited about the hunt and you're not thinking about safety. So your first safety, you want to make sure your muzzle is always pointed in a safe direction. Now, everybody knows that, or you should, but where you get into the real safety hazards, if you're hunting on a ranch that's cross-fenced and you need to cross the fence, or you're tracking a deer that's jumped a fence and you need to cross that fence to go find that deer, you got a loaded rifle in your hand, what are you going to do? You're just going to climb over it with one hand and hope you don't accidentally pull the trigger and make it go off? Well, if you're by yourself, the best thing you can do is unload it. Completely unload the gun. Make sure the chamber is empty. Place the rifle on the other side of the fence. Assuming we're crossing a barbed wire here, you'll want to place it on the other side of the fence. Granted, people always say, don't lay it down in the dirt. You're right. You don't want to lay it down in the dirt. That's bad. But check it. I'd rather have a dirty gun than a gun go off while I'm trying to climb over a fence and I blow my nuts off. You know what I mean? So find a suitable place to lie it down and then cross over the fence. Now, obviously, if you're with two people, come on now. If you're with the second party, hand that person your gun. Just hand it to them, point it in a safe direction. Everybody assume that gun is loaded. That's it. That's all you got to do. Hand it to the second party. You climb your fence. The second party then hands you your firearm back and theirs. And then they climb the fence and we pee off. But that's your number one thing. And then obviously when you're getting into a deer blind, if you're hunting in an elevated stand, whether it's a tree stand or a box blind, any kind of blind that's going to cause you to step up or maybe step down. But just keep your gun unloaded until it's go time. Now, if you're like me and you hunt in an area that's loaded up with pigs, I've been doing it long enough. I load my rifle in the chamber right before I take my first steps, start making my way in the back. That's the first thing I do, and then I start walking. Just simply because I've been charged before by pigs, and I'm not taking that chance. So I'm already going to know where I'm going to hunt, so it's nothing new. I hunt on the ground. I do have a stand that I'll every now and then get in, and it's only 8 feet off the ground, if that. I don't even think it's that high off the ground, to be honest. But I just use my better judgment when it's time to get in and out of that. Matter of fact, if I do decide to get in that, I will unload it when I'm standing at the base of the stand. I will unload it, walk up the stand with it, and get in. Granted, I'm only taking, I think, 3 steps, but 9 times out of 10, I have somebody with me, and I'll just hand the gun to them. But anyway, So you're sitting there. You're not seeing anything. You've only been sitting there for 3 minutes. 30 minutes goes by. You're not seeing anything. Be patient. The deer don't just go, oh, it's been chill. Okay, we can walk out in front of them now. No. It depends on the weather. It literally depends on what nature's doing the night before and that day. Is it the rut? Is it post-rut? Is it pre-rut? That's what your deer activity's going to. How cold is it? Is it cold where they're going to be up and moving, they got to feed? Or is it brutally cold where there's not a lot of movement? You're like, dadgum, it's freezing. Where are all the deer at? Well, they're pretty dang cold too. I think they're going to bundle up. But just be patient. All you can do is be patient. If you're not patient, it will not pay off. There were times as when I was a kid. Well, I say I was a kid. I was late teens, early 20s. Rule of thumb for me in the mornings, I don't know about everybody else. Everybody does it different. Don't move out of that stand until at least 9 o'clock in the morning. At the very least, 9 o'clock in the morning. I got down. This is a true story. I got down at 8:50. And I was like, what's 10 minutes? I'm getting down. I'm freezing. I'm not seeing squat. As soon as my feet hit the ground and I take 2 steps, a step into the opening, and I couldn't tell you how many deer were coming, but they were right there within 50 yards maybe, making their way to the food plot. And all I could do is just stand there and like, oh my God. And of course they all gave me the slinky neck and turned around and booked it. If I'd have just sat there till 9 o'clock, that happened to me on opening day. I think I was probably 18, 19 years old when that happened. But yeah, that's something to think about. But 9 o'clock is for me. Sometimes if I'm feeling froggy, I'll sit there till 10:30 or 11 in the morning. You just never know. I've gotten deer on pictures, middle of rifle season, showing up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Not a lot, but it's happened. And they were big deer. But same thing with the evening hunts. Give yourself some time to hunt. Don't get in there too late where you only got about 30 minutes of light left. You're probably not going to see anything. And it might still happen. I've killed deer after I stepped foot in the stand and I was only sitting there 10 minutes and I've had a deer walk right underneath me and I was like, whoa. So, but try to give yourself some time. Sit there until it's legal shooting hours. You can't see anymore. If you can see and you're still within the 30-minute mark, depending on what your state is, sit there. Sit. Don't move. Because when you get to that last little bit of daylight, that's when something could pop out. You might even see a Sasquatch and nobody's going to believe you. But it's usually right at that last bit of lights when the big boys step out, when anything could step out. You never know. But just follow by what the laws say for your state, whatever state that is, whatever county you're hunting in, whatever your book says, just follow by it. But use every inch of that time that you can. Every single inch. Every second of that time. But if you do wind up shooting a deer, it runs off and you can't find it, you're not sure. Number one rule, if you're not sure about your shot, just back out. Back out. Give it a couple hours. Just back out. Don't push that deer, you ain't going to find it. You might, but it's going to be really hard at that point. Once a deer is jumped, good luck. It still can be done. If you shoot a deer a little back and you're unsure, do your back out. Get on onX. Get on some kind of map that'll show you where the water is. Deer typically run toward water when they're hit further back. And actually, I have seen it where they were lung shot and they ran toward water. They completely circled all the way back. And where did I find them? Right on the creek bed. So I'm not a scientist. I'm not a biologist. But, just from my experience, that's what I'm given. I've learned if I can't find the animal, I'm having a hard time, I will go to the water source and I will walk that water source up and down. I will grid search it. But give your deer time. If you knock him down right there, you shoot him and you see it run and fall over, great. Okay. Probably read the news. Read a couple news articles on your phone, or play tic-tac-toe on your phone with somebody for, give it about 15, 20 minutes. That may be overkill, but you want to be sure. And then, visually watch the deer. If it tries to get up, that's on you, what you want to do on that. But typically whenever they run and you watch them fall over, they drop right there, they're done. They may kick for a little bit, but they're done. So, just give it some time. But if you got to do that, tears out of there and you're following blood for a little bit and you're just like, ugh, I don't know. If you need to stop where you're at, you don't have to back all the way out. If you need to stop where you're at, or just go back to your blind and maybe take a nap, go for it. But if you can't find your deer at first and you're not sure about the shot, the best thing you can do is let time do its course. Let time run its course, go back, you'll find it. Hopefully. But that's your better option. But another thing, people worry about camo, scent blocker, all this other stuff. Yeah, I could say it makes somewhat of a difference. I've worn it all. Now I find myself wearing cheap Academy clothing because I'm not going to say the brands, but I was wearing some really nice stuff that I spent an arm and a leg for, and I was still getting busted by deer, and I followed the instructions to the T. Then I was like, you know what, I'm going back to my roots. It's all about the wind. Yeah, obviously I'm not going to go roll around in perfume or cologne and then go out in the stand, which I know people still wear cologne and perfume and still kill deer. Yeah, it's just the wind. Play the wind, or be mindful of the wind. So that may sway you a little bit to maybe decide if you're going to take that deer if it's downwind. Make your choice a little bit faster. If it's not the deer you want, go ahead. If they blow at you, it is not the end of the day. I promise. I've been blown at twice this year. And what happened? One, they did take off eventually. And I was like, bunch of doe. I didn't really feel like messing with the doe that day. And then the other time, and then, mind you, I still had deer come in later, like about an hour later. Then I had one blow. She blew once at me. She got really close to me. I was trying to figure out what the heck is that, and I just froze, Blew at me and then turned around and walked a little bit. Then walked in front of me and, kept eating and just really kept her eye on me, but she didn't leave. So if you hear a deer blow, don't panic. It's not the end of the hunt. Be patient. Key is, for new people, be patient. Number one thing, though, enjoy the peace and quiet and watching the good Lord's nature work here. You see all sorts of stuff when you're hunting. I mean, you're going to see all sorts of stuff. The more time you put in, the better chance you got. People are luckier than others. I've seen pictures and stories of kids their first time hunting and they kill a 180-inch Boone and Crockett. It's like, wow. I've been hunting for 28 years now and I'm yet to kill a Boone and Crockett. I've killed some big deer. I've never killed anything in the Boone and Crockett. And that just goes back to the land access you have and, where the deer are, that's where you need to be. Being in the right place at the right time is key. That's all it is. I don't care what anybody tells you. Deer don't teleport out of the ground because you're sitting in the best place. Being in the right place at the right time is key. Deer are going to show up where you least expect it. Just have fun with it. Enjoy every bit of it. Make your memories. If you miss, it's still not the end of the world. Keep sitting there. The deer don't run off and stop and go, Jim Bob over there just shot at me with a 30-06 and he missed me. Don't go that way. No, they don't remember where it came from. Now they aren't stupid, but at the same time, they've come back or a different group comes in. So just sit until it gets dark. That's all I can tell you. Anyway, be safe, have fun, take care.